I was standing at the kitchen counter, sorting through a pile of bills with half a cup of cold coffee and a splitting headache, when I saw it, a thick white envelope with gold lettering stamped in the corner, the Ashton Country Club. My stomach turned. The Ashton was the swankiest golf club in all of Richmond. I opened it, thinking it had to be a mistake. Inside was a glossy folder and a typed contract. Wedding package. Estimated guest count, 300. Full catering, top shelf bar, designer floral installations, and a 5-figure live band. Total, $79,500. And apparently, I paid for it. My name was signed at the bottom in blue ink. Shaky but trying hard to match my actual handwriting. My fingers went numb. The bride listed, Melissa Carson, my younger brother Luke's fiancée. Quick note, before we go further, tell me where you're watching from today. I dropped into the bar stool, staring at the contract like it might change. I knew my signature, and I knew that wasn't it. The loops were off, the T's were too high. Whoever did it had studied my writing closely. I grabbed my phone and called the club directly. "Mr. Cooper," the lady said cheerfully. "Wow, everyone here's been talking about your generosity. That deposit was legendary." I didn't say much, just thanked her and hung up, heart pounding in my ears. I stood in the middle of my kitchen, trying to make sense of what just happened. My own brother, the same one who once asked me to co-sign a lease because his credit was trashed, was now throwing a luxury wedding, using my name. I started pacing. Flashes hit me like a bad movie montage. Luke crying after totaling his car sophomore year. Me wiring him the down payment for a new one. Him forgetting to pay me back for 2 months of rent when he moved in with Melissa. Spring break in Miami on my credit card. He said he'd Venmo me later. Never did. I look back down at the contract. 79 grand, and not a single word to me about it. I grabbed my laptop and started pulling up my bank statements. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but I started typing Ashton into my email just in case. Nothing. Then I typed wedding. That's when it cracked open. An email chain popped up between Luke, Mom, and Melissa, forwarded to my Gmail months ago, probably by accident. Subject line, RE, Nate's involvement. Luke wrote, "He's gonna flip if we tell him straight up. Mom, can you talk to him first?" Mom replied, "Just lock it in. Nate always comes through eventually." Melissa added, "I mean, even if he says no, we have options. We just have to make it happen." I just stood there, jaw clenched so tight it hurt. This wasn't some misunderstanding or a last-minute plea. They planned this. They talked about how to make it happen if I refused. Like my refusal didn't matter. Like I was some stubborn ATM machine with mood swings. I clicked into my text history with Luke and scrolled back a few months. There it was. He had asked me about doing something big for the wedding. I never replied. A week later, he texted again, "Hey, forget what I said. We got it figured out." Figured out how to steal from me, apparently. My hands shook as I opened a spreadsheet and started listing it all. Car repairs from junior year, $3,400. Rent for 3 months when he got laid off, $2,100. Spring break in Miami, Wendy's $800. Bailout when he lost his wallet in Vegas, $900. Flights, gifts, dinners I covered for holidays. Even his old credit card I co-signed on that he ghosted. Line after line, it added up. Over 46 grand gone, not lent, gone. Always with the same smile, the same, "Bro, I swear I got you next time." This wasn't just one big screw-up. This was a pattern. A whole system built around me doing what they assumed I'd always do. Fix it. Smile through it. Be the dependable one. I called Rick, my oldest friend, who's known my family since middle school. "Dude," I said, "I need to read something to you." I pulled up the emails and read them out loud. Silence. Then, "Jesus Christ," he muttered. "They forged your signature?" "Yeah, I compared it side by side. It's close, but it's not mine." "That's identity theft, man. Straight up fraud. They're screwing you. This isn't family stuff anymore. This is criminal." I keep thinking maybe I'm overreacting. "No," he cut me off. "You're not. You're waking up." That hit like a punch to the chest. I wasn't overreacting. I was finally seeing it. Rick said, "You need to get out before they trap you deeper. Move. Change your number. Lawyer up if you have to." I leaned back in the chair and stared at the ceiling. It's my own brother. No, man, he said. That's not your brother. That's someone who used to be your brother. That night, I couldn't sleep. I just kept going over it. Every time I bailed them out. Every time Mom guilt-tripped me with her "Nate always finds a way" voice. Every time I got a cheap thank you text while they went on with their lives, like I hadn't just emptied my savings. I remembered one Thanksgiving when Melissa showed off a designer purse and said, "Oh, Luke's so generous." I bought that thing. I recognized the transaction on my Amex. They'd been treating me like a backup checking account for years, and now they'd taken it to the next level. They didn't care how it affected me. They just knew I wouldn't blow it up. Well, they were wrong about that too. I was still sitting in the dark when I remembered that text from Kim a few weeks back. Something about a job opening in Denver. I pulled it up and reread it. "Hey Nate, my new firm's hiring. Creative lead role, you'd crush it." Back then, I'd brushed it off. Too much going on, too many ties here. But now, the second I saw the word hiring, something inside me clicked. I opened a blank doc and started updating my resume. No music, no distractions. Just me, typing like my life depended on it. Because maybe it did. While I worked, my phone lit up again. Luke, "Hey man, what do you think about the ivory napkins versus the stone ones?" Mom, "Melissa loved the string quartet option. We'll go ahead and confirm unless you object." Luke again, "Oh, custom whiskey tasting? Check your email, bro. You'll love this." They really had no clue. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened a new folder on my desktop and started dragging things in. Screenshots of the texts, the email thread about making it happen, copies of the forged contract. I scanned my own signature from my driver's license and put it side by side with the wedding doc, labeled it all, organized it. Then I called a local attorney who offered a free consult. He picked up after 2 rings. "What's going on?" he asked. I laid it out fast: family, fake contract, identity fraud, potential job out of state. I expected him to hesitate, maybe soften it. He didn't. "That's fraud, Mr. Cooper. You're well within your rights to report it. And if you're moving for safety or to avoid ongoing harassment, yeah, you can break your lease." I thanked him and hung up, my heart hammering. I wasn't just reacting anymore. I was building a way out. That night, I sat on my couch with my laptop in one hand and my phone in the other, switching between prepping for the Denver interview and screenshotting the latest round of wedding nonsense. Melissa sent a PDF with final seating chart options. Luke texted, "Dude, we're thinking of hiring a live painter. Would be epic." They really thought I was all in, like I was just that guy again. Quiet, reliable, too tired to say no. But I wasn't tired anymore. I was awake. Kim FaceTimed me 2 days later. "I mentioned you to the hiring manager," she said. "They loved your portfolio from the San Mateo project. Can you interview next week?" "Sooner the better," I said. "Denver's ready for you," she smiled. I'd never been to Denver, didn't know the neighborhoods, didn't know the weather, didn't care. I wasn't running. I was leaving. Big difference. I filled out the application, uploaded everything, and hit send. Then I leaned back, closed my eyes, and just sat in the silence. No one asking for money. No one expecting me to fix things. Terrified? Absolutely. But I wasn't trapped anymore. I had a plan. And for the first time in years, it was mine. The next Saturday I showed up to the family cookout, because if I didn't, it would have been an immediate red flag. I needed quiet. I needed time. What I got was chaos. Mom met me at the gate with her arms wide. "There's the man of the hour," she shouted like she was announcing a damn celebrity. I smiled tight and walked in, keeping my sunglasses on even though the sun had dipped behind the trees. People were already half drunk and loading up paper plates. Someone handed me a beer. I didn't open it. Luke spotted me from across the yard and made a beeline over, big dumb grin plastered across his face. "Yo, finally," he said, pulling a stack of papers from under his arm. "Okay, so RSVP list, preliminary, but Melissa wants your input on the high priority seating. You know, VIP stuff. Oh, and here's the custom menu samples from the chef. Wild game or surf and turf. I mean, this is your show, man." He laughed like we were planning a Super Bowl party. My stomach churned. I took the papers, didn't say much, nodded like I was listening. Then Melissa swooped in behind him, smelling like hairspray and white wine. She shoved a clipboard into my hands. We're upgrading the wine package, she said. The sommelier said we can do a full reserve pairing for 11 grand. Just need your initials here, and we'll lock it in. I looked down at the clipboard. She had already filled out my name. I looked her dead in the eye and said, I'll look it over later. She blinked, lips twitching like she didn't know whether to smile or get offended. I turned and walked toward the front yard, called Kim. She picked up on the second ring. Tell me you have good news, I said, stepping away from the house, heart racing. She didn't hesitate. Denver is ready for you. The hiring manager said your San Mateo redesign was one of the cleanest decks he's ever seen. They want you. I exhaled hard and felt my whole body shake. Send me the final link, I said. Already did, she said. You're gonna kill it here. I hung up, walked back into the backyard like nothing happened. My jaw hurt from clenching. That night, after I got home, I submitted the final round of the interview. Video questions, portfolio links, work history. It was done. The next morning, I woke up to the offer in my inbox. $91,000 base salary, relocation bonus, start date flexible. I stared at the email for a full minute before I clicked accept. Then I went straight to Zillow, found a place 15 minutes from the new office, and signed the lease. Move in, 13 days. My heart was racing, but it wasn't panic this time. It was adrenaline, focus, fire. By dinner, I had already started recording. I knew I needed proof, something solid. So I invited Mom over under the usual excuse, help picking out a tie for Luke's rehearsal dinner. She never turned down a chance to play wedding coordinator. I had my phone recording in my hoodie pocket. She sat at my kitchen island, flipping through fabric swatches she brought without asking. You know, Melissa's parents were shocked when they found out how generous you've been. I told them, that's just Nate. He always shows up for family. I stayed quiet. She kept going, sipping iced tea. The whiskey tasting alone, but I said, don't worry, Nate will handle the wedding bill. That's what family does. Click. Got it. I smiled like I didn't want to throw her out of my apartment. When she left, I backed up the recording twice, laptop and cloud. Then I sat on the floor in my living room, surrounded by empty moving boxes, and stared at the ceiling. 13 days, they had no idea. The next morning, I started pulling back, hard. I didn't answer a single group text. I stopped replying to Luke's check this out links. Mom sent a voice memo about flower arrangements. I didn't even listen to it. Instead, I packed, quietly, methodically, room by room. I folded my life into cardboard boxes while their little fantasy train chugged along without me. I went to the bank, transferred everything to a new account in a new institution, different branch, different system. I froze my credit and ordered new cards, changed passwords, security questions, locked down every angle they could possibly sneak into. I wasn't just leaving, I was erasing the version of me they thought they owned. 3 days before the move, I got a knock at the door. A tall blonde woman in heels stood there holding a giant leather binder. Hi, you must be Nate. I'm Clarissa, your planner from the Ashton. We just wanted to finalize a few details for the wedding before the deadline. I let her in. She laid everything out on my kitchen table like this was completely normal. Here's the full vendor summary. 31 tables, the live jazz band, the custom cigar bar setup. Your brother said you approved everything. I just need a few more signatures to confirm totals. I kept my face neutral. Do you mind if I keep this binder overnight? Oh, I'm afraid I can't leave the full book, she said. But feel free to take any notes or pictures you need. Perfect. I pulled out my phone like I was checking my calendar and snapped photos of every invoice page while she kept talking. Custom monogram matchboxes, private scotch tasting, a $10,000 floral dome just for the head table, all in my name. After she left, I called Rick. Dude, I said, the wedding planner came by. I got everything, all of it. Bring it over, he said. Tonight. He cleared off his dining table, and we went page by page, organizing the evidence like we were prepping for court, which, honestly, we might have been. Text threads, email chains, forged contracts, screenshots, voice memos, call logs. You got a whole damn Netflix special in this folder, he said. I slid the recording of Mom across the table. He played it, eyebrows raised. Holy hell, this is gold. He looked at me, serious now. When you go, go hard. Don't half-ass it. Burn it down right. I nodded. I already picked the date. They had a cake tasting scheduled for next Friday, all 3 of them. Melissa had blasted it on her Instagram stories, some boutique bakery downtown. It was the only time I could guarantee they'd all be gone, faces full of fondant and sugar, completely distracted. I marked the time in my calendar. Movers would arrive at 10 a.m. Sharp. 11 days of silence. 11 days of planning every detail while they kept sending me wine pairings and dance floor options like nothing was off. They didn't know they were planning a wedding without a sponsor. They didn't know I was already gone. Friday morning, 9:58 a.m., the moving truck rolled up right on time. My phone was already buzzing nonstop. Calls from Mom, 2 from Luke, 1 from a random number I didn't recognize. Probably Melissa's florist or some other vendor looking for the check. I ignored it all. The second the truck stopped, I stepped out and handed the crew chief my printed floor plan, every box labeled by room and priority. He gave me a nod, and his guys went to work. While they carried out my couch, I sat on the kitchen floor, opened my laptop, and pulled up the digital tenant portal. I submitted an official fraud alert and lease termination notice, flagged as urgent due to identity misuse. Uploaded the lawyer's consult letter. Sent. Then I picked up the phone and called the Ashton. "Hi, this is Nate Cooper," I said flatly. "I need to report a fraud involving a forged wedding contract under my name." The woman transferred me to someone in admin. I didn't waste time. I emailed them a full packet, handwriting comparison, text threads, the recording of Mom, the email chain, even the planner's invoices, all of it. 5 hours later, I got the reply. "Mr. Cooper, due to confirmed fraud, the reservation will be canceled unless full payment is provided within 3 business days." And just like that, the whole thing started to crack. That night, the real explosion hit. Facebook. Someone spilled. Probably Melissa, or maybe Luke's dumbass groomsman who caught wind of the venue getting yanked. Whatever it was, my phone lit up like a Christmas tree. Status updates, comments, DMs, confused relatives tagging each other. Is the wedding still at the Ashton? Anyone know why Nate's not listed on the RSVP site anymore? What happened to the live band? I didn't post anything. I didn't need to. Around 10:30 p.m., I got a text from my cousin Alyssa. Just one line. "Is it true you're not paying for the wedding?" I stared at it for a second. Then I typed back, "Never was." Didn't say more. Didn't offer some long explanation or defense. I didn't owe them one. I shut off my phone, walked into my now empty bedroom, and sat on the edge of the mattress that would be packed last. The place was quiet. The air smelled like cardboard and tape. My whole life, boxed up and ready to go. Outside, the movers were strapping everything down. By the time my family finished their cake tasting, I'd be gone. 3 days after the truck pulled away, the house of cards finally crashed. Luke's fiance's parents, who I guess had been proudly telling their friends that the brother's covering everything, found out the truth, not from me. Someone at the Ashton probably called to confirm payment. Or maybe Melissa had a breakdown. Doesn't matter. All I know is by Tuesday morning, Facebook was flooded. Melissa's mom posted something long and dramatic about broken promises and unexpected financial burdens. Her dad demanded a prenup, flat out. No negotiations. The guest list dropped from 300 to under 100. No whiskey bar, no cigar lounge. The live band was gone. The venue? Canceled. I checked. They replaced it with some mid-tier banquet hall off the highway. Mom didn't say a word to me directly, but I saw her post. Some people forget what family really means, but we'll keep moving forward with love and grace. My college roommate Kevin saw it and commented, "Didn't Nate say he wasn't paying for any of this?" She didn't reply. Then came the calls, the cousins, the aunts, the random second uncle I hadn't seen since my high school graduation. The only one who actually got through was Uncle Ron, my dad's older brother, the one who never liked drama and always paid cash. He called once, just once. "Hey Nate," he said calmly. "Can I ask you something straight? Did you actually agree to pay for the wedding?" "Nope," I said. "Not once." Silence for a second. "You got proof?" "I do." "Send it." I forwarded him everything. The forged contract, the email chain, the planner invoice photos, and the audio of Mom saying I'd cover it all. 5 minutes later, he texted, "Got it." No need to explain anything else. I blocked every family number after that. All of them. Mom, Luke, Melissa. The cousins blowing up my inbox. Everyone but Rick and Kim. Rick sent me a message that just said, "You went full scorched earth. Proud of you." Kim dropped off a housewarming plant with a sticky note that said, "No one gets to write your story for you." My new place in Denver was small, a one-bedroom walk-up with ugly beige carpet and a squeaky kitchen faucet. But the lock clicked when I turned it, and no one had a key but me. I unpacked slow. 1 box a day. No rush. At night, I'd sit by the window with the lights off and just stare at the skyline. Buildings I didn't recognize, people I didn't know, no one expecting anything from me. No one asking for money, no one checking in just to see how the deposit's going. Just silence. And it was beautiful. 3 weeks later, I opened my mailbox and saw her handwriting. Mom, return address smudged like it had been crying through the envelope. Inside was a card, white lilies on the front, like she thought this was a damn funeral. No apology, just layered guilt. We all make mistakes, but family doesn't give up on each other. I hope one day you understand. Luke's been struggling. I closed it without reading the rest and tossed it into the drawer next to the oven. Didn't tear it up, didn't burn it, just put it away where it couldn't talk. Outside, the air was sharp but clean. I walked the 6 blocks to the office with my hands in my jacket pockets, my head clear. First thing when I stepped in, my boss waved me over. "Nate," he said, "you crushed that pitch yesterday. Client said you were the most put-together guy they've met in a year." I nodded, grinned. "Appreciate it." He slapped my back and kept walking. Mid-morning, I grabbed coffee with Jamal, one of the newer guys on the team. He looked tired, eyes baggy, phone blowing up with notifications. "My dad keeps texting me," he said. "Says he needs help with rent again. 5th time this year." I told him I'm tight, and he straight up said, "So much for family." I took a sip of my coffee and looked him straight in the eye. "You don't owe anyone your future," I said. "Not even family." He stared at me for a second like no one had ever said that out loud before. Then he just nodded and muttered, "Damn." That night, Kim and I met up at this taco spot near my place. We ate outside under a string of crooked lights, the air just starting to cool. She raised her glass of cheap sangria and grinned. "To people who stop being used," she said. I raised mine. Amen. Back home, I stood by my window, lights off, staring out at Denver. It was dark, the skyline scattered with orange dots and blinking reds. Nobody knew me here. Nobody needed me. My phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. Luke. I watched the screen light up, then go dark. Didn't pick it up. Didn't even flinch. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. Some bridges don't need fixing. Some bridges burn so you can light your own damn way.